Okay gang, Private Jack here, and welcome to part 1 in my series on how to extract the original Half-Life or GoldSource models from their packets and get them into Source FilmMaker. In this particular video, what we're going to cover is Crowbar and how to use it to extract the models. So we've downloaded Crowbar. This is one program I'm going to show you how to install because it's so fast, and use it to extract the various models from the original games and get them into Source FilmMaker. So to set up Crowbar, here's all you have to do. Right click on the 7Z file that you brought down, and if you have an archiver or an archiving program associated to 7Z files, all you have to do is drag it somewhere on your desktop, drop it, and say extract to a folder. Crowbar is now installed. Go into that folder that you just created. You can install this anywhere on your computer and use it. So basically what you should find is Crowbar exe and a data folder inside that folder. Okay, that's all Crowbar is. Double click on Crowbar, click run if you have the user account controls set on, and you'll be presented with this particular screen. Preview, error, model file is blank, yada yada yada. Not a problem. We're not looking at previewing models anyway. We're going to decompile stuff. So click on the Decompile tab and go to this screen. Now I'm going to minimize it a little bit here, simply due to the fact that I'd like to work in a cleaner environment. Okay, so this is version 0.34. It's the most current version available. We download it from the Valve group, and basically Zeq is away right now on a sabbatical, resting up, and has promised that he's going to come back and improve on this tool. This is a marvelous tool, and all we can do is wait for the future. Okay, anyway, this decompiler will decompile almost any Valve model that is available. That includes HWM models to the old GoldSource Half-life 1 models. Okay, so this is now the decompiler of choice. Don't go looking for Cannon Fodder's decompiler anymore. Don't go looking for the Hooch's fixed version of the Cannon Fodder decompiler. They do not work in the new Steam environment for Valve models. Or, well, they do, but you have to go through a heck of a lot of hoops in order to get them working. You have to change characters in the actual model files, yada yada yada. And this tool now, you don't have to do anything but actually drag and drop a model file name onto the thing and press decompile almost. So anyway, that being said, let's look at the actual decompile process. So where do these files actually live? Well, first off, you have to own Half-Life, the actual game. You have to own Blue Shift. You have to own all these old games. So if you don't own them, guess what? You're not going to be able to decompile the assets. That's all there is to it. So where do these assets live? Well, they live in your Source FilmMaker, or correction, they live in your Steam Common folder. Okay, so Steam Apps Common, wherever you've got it extracted to or installed to. Scroll down and find Half-Life. This is where all those models live. Now, we're not talking about Half-Life Source. We're not talking about Counter-Strike Source. We're talking about the original games here, like the 1989 games. Okay? Inside this folder, you're going to find the various folders for the models. Here's Blue Shift. If I open that up, I'm going to find that there is a models folder here. I click on that models folder and I'm presented with a whole raft of different models. Okay, so here's Barney. There's about 5 or 6 different types of Barneys. The head crab, all the rest of that good stuff, they're all here. Click on player, it'll take you into the player models. There's a player model of Barney, Gina, the G-Man, Gordon, Helmet, down the list, okay? One thing I want you to notice here is when I actually go into the folder, okay, all you're going to find is an MDL file. There are no material files whatsoever associated with these models, okay? That's because the models, the materials themselves are simple BMP files that have been embedded into the MDL file, okay? So one of the models I'm going to extract, show you how to extract, is the Gordon model. So we're going to drill into Gordon here. I'm going to minimize my engine here, my File Explorer, so that I can see Crowbar. I'm going to left click on Gordon, and I'm going to drag him up and just drop him right here on that particular box. And it will actually show the file folder and the model name. Now, for these models, I usually set up a folder on my desktop for these things. So I'm going to specify a full path. I'm going to hit Browse. It'll take me into my documents because that's where it was. I'm going to point to my desktop. I'm going to right click, select New Folder, and this new folder I'm going to call Half-Life. Now I'm going to extract a couple of different files here so that we have a various thing to work with. So once I get that done, I drill into that folder and select Open. The file path information changes here. Okay, now all I have to do is check on the things that I want to actually have brought into from the model file. First thing I want is the QC file, because that way I don't have to write one myself. I also am going to put the texture group skin families on single line. That means that if I have multiple materials for that model, they'll come into a texture group, skin families, and then be broke down on the line. Okay, I need the reference mesh SMD. It's not Left 4 Dead. I don't have to worry about right hand fixes. And I want all the actual bone animations for the file, and I'm going to place them in an anims photo subfolder inside this one. I also require the BMP files, okay? Because this is a GoldSource type model, okay, the actual materials are embedded in the model file itself. I don't need LODs, I don't need physics mesh because I'm bringing it in for Source FilmMaker and we don't have to worry about that stuff. I'm going to leave VTA file checked on, and I'm also going to leave procedural bones checked on, just in case there might be a VTA associated with the model. But these models go back, are so old that it was mouth moving stuff, right? So once I've got that all checked, all I'm going to do now is click Decompile and watch this area here in the decompiler. It'll go through, it'll find everything, and all these SMDs that you see are all the animations and the reference meshes that are coming in. Textures files, it found DM base and DM face, BMPs. Now if I go into my Half-Life folder here, I am going to find that I have all that information there. Now, if I was going to decompile multiple models for Half-Life, what I should have actually checked was folder for each model. And I'm going to delete this right now and redo this and show you what happens. Okay, so I want the Gordon model. I want it to go to that Half-Life folder. I'm going to check on folder for each model, and I'm going to click on Decompile. There's all the SMDs being decompiled. Now when I go into this folder, I'm going to find a Gordon folder. I drill into that, and I find all my files in this particular folder. So that if I do decide that I want to get that head crab, let's go back here to models and find the head crab. Yeah, that one. All I have to do is drag it and drop it up here. It changes. It's going to go to that folder, and I don't have to change anything else here. I just click Decompile. And away it goes, and there's the animation files and all the BMPs and whatnot else for that. If I come back into that Half-Life folder now I've got two folders, Gordon and the head crab. Now, here's something that's really cool about the decompiler. Let's say I wanted to sit down here and spend many hours creating models from the Half-Life series. I want all the models to decompile. Well, all I have to do is come back here, remove that, or browse. We'll go into browse. Come in here and go to Blue Shift Models. Open that folder, and automatically what happens is this changes to folder. But within that folder, there was a subfolder, if you remember. Do I still have it open? Yes, I do. Okay, so in this folder for Blue Shift, there's a player subfolder as well. Okay, I can change this to folder and subfolders. Make sure that I have the folder for each model selected, and click Decompile. Now this is going to take some time, and I'm going to have to log off here and let it run, but this is all those models being decompiled and being placed in this Half-Life folder. There they go. That I can now go into where are we? Gas bag. See? QC's there, the reference model's there, the materials are there, the animations are there. For each and every one of these models. There's the forklift. BMPs are there. SMDs are there. Animations are there, if there are any. It should be an idle anyway. Oh, yep, drive, everything's there. Okay, so basically you can actually decompile folders of models. This thing is still working. I'm going to log off here and I'll come back when this is done. Okay, this took a little while, and now if I go into that folder, what I will find now is that I now have 344 models that I can actually go through and start editing. This is all the weapons, all the V weapons, all the W weapons, zombies, you name it, it's all here. And when I started, what I should have done was actually called this one Blue Shift instead of Half-Life. But now that I've called it Half-Life, if I come into the QCs, I can still rename this to Blue Shift, because nowhere here in the QCs does it actually mention that it's in the Half-Life folder. So I can correct my mistake. Come on, rename. There we go. So I can call that Blue Shift. So those are all the models for Blue Shift. And the process is exactly the same for any of the other Half-Life models that you want to bring in. Now, Valve went through about 1990 or so, or I can't remember when it was actually, and they actually upgraded the Blue Shift models to a HD model, a little more higher definition. Well, here are all those models. You could actually go through and extract these ones and bring them into Source Filmmaker. Here's the Counter-Strike models. Okay, this is Counter-Strike version 1.6 models, and all the models associated with that. We're going to drill into the player model here, and we're going to come down here to Gorilla, and we're going to bring the Gorilla model in. So all I have to do is drop the Gorilla model here. The path and file information changes. Change my change my output folder. I'm going to create a new folder here, folder, and I'm going to call this CS16. I can either hand change this here to CS16, or I can browse for it. Okay, so there's the file information. Everything here is going to remain the same. Click Decompile, and away it goes. And here are all the actual animations and reference models for that particular model. Now you see these guys here that say Blendo 1, Blendo 2, Blendo 3. These are blended animation sequences. Source Filmmaker does not like blended animation sequences. At least I haven't found a way to make these things actually compile into a model. We know that it can be done simply due to the fact that we see it when we try to load, say, the HWM Scout and load one of the animation sequences, and we want them to do the run with a little bit of off to the left type movement. Those are all available on the sliders in the actual animation set importer. Okay, but anyway, make a long story short, that's for later on when we do the QC writing. I just wanted to bring it up that these blended sequences are not going to be imported into our model. Okay, now for, let's say we want to bring in the original Half-Life models. So come back here to Half-Life. Here's the Deathmatch Classic. Here's the Classic DOD. If you drill into Gearbox, this is the original Half-Life 1 models. Open them up. And here they are. So Gordon, the scientist, Gina, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Come back here into the Half-Life folder again. Down here, we've got Ricochet. You can get them into Source Filmmaker. And here are the original Team Fortress Classic models here. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab the sniper model, I think. So grab the player, come down here to sniper. There's two versions. One is the original, and one is the HD model. They changed the format of the sniper. I'm going to grab the original, drop that there, change this to TFC. Go to, it's not there, can't find it. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to actually browse and put a new folder on our desktop. Call this one TFC, hit enter, drill into it. Come on, don't be a pain in the butt. Drill into TFC, open that. File path changes. We want all the same information. Click decompile, and away it goes. Okay, the reason why I brought in 3 different types of models is because each model has its own little quirk and own little tweak that has to be changed when we actually go in and edit the QC. The next video that we're going to look at is getting the materials ready using GIMP. There's a problem with actually working with BMPs that I need to outline, and there's another thing with BMPs also that we're going to cover. So that's extracting the old GoldSource type models from their game packets into a format that we can now recompile into use for Source FileMaker. So with that, I'm going to say Private Jack out.